Can I just start off by saying I love this show. I love how it makes me think. I love how it makes me feel. I love how it makes me question things. Throughout this entire season, not one bad episode of Attack on Titan season 2. I mean, there were a couple that were like, slow in terms of pacing, but nothing bad. And now that we've reached the finale, I mean, this episode, nothing that I've seen this year has made me feel the way that this episode and the episode where we got the Reiner and Bertolt reveal made me feel. And I do think it's because deep down, at its core, this show kind of gets you to confront your own views on humanity in general. This was such an emotionally charged episode. Boy, was it emotionally charged. And I think that if you're like me, you're kind of having mixed feelings at the moment because it's like this was such a great episode, but it's also the finale. That being said, we did get some good news coming out of this finale because it's been announced, ladies and gentlemen, that Attack on Titan Season 3 will premiere in 2018, next year, okay? So if you were able to wait, how much was it, like 4 years? The gap between Season 1 and Season 2 was so big. If you were able to wait that long for this season to come out, waiting a year is not going to be that much for you. Think about it as waiting the same time for Christmas to come around. Or think about it as waiting for a new season of Game of Thrones. Anyway, we start off with YAMIRUUU, who's really pissed off at Erwin. I thought at first she was going to attack him, but no, she's actually protecting him. And I think throughout this entire episode, she's very conflicted in terms of what side should I be on. I just want Krista, but this is really conflicting. There's a part where she actually says that there's no escaping the hell that is to come inside of the walls. So for Ymir, being inside the walls is actually a pretty bad place to be in. So much so that she would rather go back to the place that actually turned her into a Titan. That's really messed up. And when she says the hell that is to come, it kind of makes it seem as if that's future tense, meaning that there's something really bad about to go down that's going to affect the people living inside of the walls. But that being said, Krista has this really good speech, or should I say Historia. And by the way, I'm just going to get this last final YAMIRUUU out of the way because it's going to be a while since I see her again. So here it goes. YAMIRUUU! So she actually convinces her girlfriend to fight for nobody else but herself, at least for the moment. And Ymir kind of gets this message and she's just ready to roll. We got this really cool shot of Ymir, this double sort of faded in shot of contrasting her Titan form with her human form. And they start going in. And then this very weird kind of music pops in. I will say that the music I thought was on point throughout this episode. But this one track, it kind of felt like something out of, Kill la Kill. Don't lose your way. I think the track is something like, get back. But whatever, so she has this pretty nice speech about how when she's close to Ymir, she's no longer afraid or anything. And she just goes up into the sky with her maneuver gear, starts like figure skating, like practicing her ballet routine. She just starts spinning. It's pretty hilarious, I'm not gonna lie. Especially because the shot just kind of cuts off from her very abruptly. She's like, look at me, I'm Historia, and I've always wanted to join the circus as an acrobat. Quickly, I just want to mention that there was a Titan in this episode that looked a lot like Bertolt. We go to the whole Hannes situation, and I have to say that there was so much foreshadowing, so many hints about the fact that this character was eventually going to die, that when it actually happened, I wasn't surprised. And in fact, I was kind of desensitized to that. I was like, yeah, this death is coming. I know it's coming. But when it actually happened, oh, boy, I did not expect to feel what I felt during that moment. Especially, I think what really affected me the most was how devastating it was for Eren. Because Hannes was ready to die. He said, like, if I can just get those good old days back, I'm willing to lay down my life. But the way that it affected Eren and Mikasa, especially them standing right there, he gave up his life to protect both of them at that moment. Sort of, again, like I said in the previous review, poetic justice, because if you remember, he's actually, in the first episode, he runs away from that same Titan, from the Smiling Titan. He even says it himself, oh, what a coincidence. I'm going to slice this thing up. And I don't know if it's because Hannes is very inexperienced. Maybe he should have done a little bit more training back in the day as opposed to drinking with his buddies, but he just can't seem to land a hit on the Titan's nape. The Titan is also, to be fair, the Titan is moving around a lot. It's just going like this, like if he were a fly, just get out. So, he goes for the heal at one point, he lands a couple of hits here and there, but nothing lethal, and I'm just like, yeah, this is not going to end well for him. And then finally he gets eaten, and, oh, God, Eren's reaction was painful to watch. At first, I actually thought he had lost it Because when he actually starts crying, it doesn't sound like he's crying. It sounds like he's straight up laughing maniacally. I thought this guy was going like straight up psychotic. Like he was having a manic episode. But even before that, you can see the rage, the desperation, because he's trying to just bite his hand to try and transform. Why can't he transform? Why could Ymir and why could Reiner transform, but why couldn't Eren? I don't know. Also, why doesn't Bertolt transform in this episode? Whatever. So you see this part where he's actually just biting, straight up biting the flesh from his hand because he's so frustrated because he can't transform. And so when I was watching that scene, I remembered what Armin had said in the previous episode to Bertolt about, we found out thanks to Annie that you guys are not immune to pain. That pain is real for you guys. So imagine the pain. And not only that, but then after Hannes gets eaten, we get arguably, I think, the most powerful moment in this entire show, and it's just complete and utter desolation. They even kill the sound. Everything is kind of happening in slow motion at that point. All right, Eren is obviously reliving the trauma of losing his mom to the very same Titan because it's the same scenario. The past is repeating itself inside of Eren's mind because, according to him, nothing has changed. Everything stays the same. He still was not capable of protecting this person that he cared about dearly from the Titans. And then all of a sudden, you see this light on screen. It's very, very, very noticeable light. And it's Mikasa. And Mikasa, I think that's probably one of the most powerful moments in anime where she actually just is there as a source of comfort and tells him, Eren, that's not true. You saved me. You gave me this scarf and gave me a reason to live, a reason to push forward. And in the beginning of the episode, there's actually a brief flashback between Eren and his mom. And what does the mom say to Eren? Eren, you're a man. You have to be there for Mikasa. I mean, seriously, in a span of like less than 2 minutes, the episode goes from a tragedy to straight up hopeless to sort of hopeful to actually like a love declaration almost. I mean, I actually thought they were going to kiss. I'm not lying. Like, I actually thought like, she's going in for the kiss. And Eren just kind of like stands up and actually says, I will wrap that thing around you anytime. It's kind of funny how in this show the characters kind of communicating code when it comes to feelings and love, like Krista and Ymir. They never flat out say, I love you, but you can tell. In this case, Eren actually says, I will wrap that thing around you as many times as you want. I know there's probably a lot of memes and sexual jokes that you can make out of that statement, but I'm going to stay away from that just because I really do think it was a huge, very powerful moment for both of these characters. So Eren goes up to the Smiling Titan. He punches it. At first I thought, okay, yeah, I mean, he completely tanked the hit. I mean, nothing really happened at first. And so at first, I was like, oh, Eren's about to have a Moment Rider moment from One Punch Man. But no, it actually sends out a signal, and you can see Bertolt, Reiner, and Ymir like, wait, what? What happened? Oh, no. Oh, no, Eren. This guy just got a power up, didn't he? Didn't he? So he can't transform, but now he has the ability to command the Titans. And he sends just like a herd, a swarm of Titans to munch on this Smiling Titan. They rip it to shreds. It's amazing. It's this new unlocked ability. Okay, so in a way, even though it was tragic, Hannes' death wasn't in vain. So that's what Reiner was talking about when he mentioned that Eren might be the coordinate that they were looking for. Because in this episode, that straight up gets confirmed. He's like, I do not want this person to be the coordinate. What are the odds that this erratic, raged-filled person gets to be the coordinate? Now, I still don't know what that means, but that just makes Eren super important. And which we know, because he's the main character. But even Ymir, like, after that happens, everything changes because Ymir's like, wait a minute, what? Wow, maybe there is hope inside the walls. And by the way, just a very quick connection. So we know now that Eren has the power to sort of command the Titans and tell them what to do, okay? Well, the only character that I know of that we've seen thus far that kind of has a similar ability to do that is the Beast Titan, which, by the way, makes an appearance by the end of the episode. I will say, though, that the only part of this episode that kind of like took me out of it for a bit because everything was just so serious was that part with Armin and John. When Armin's just trying to get this Titan away from him, he's like, So in Commander Erwin's orders, they all start to retreat. The Titans go for the Armored Titan, and they're struggling. They're struggling because of them. And again, I still don't know why Bertolt doesn't transform, and Ymir makes the choice. She makes the choice of leaving Historia, the love of her life, behind to go and help them out. And it's just such a beautiful shot because it's really all about love. That's what really matters in this time of darkness. And you see the lighting there. In fact, I think it actually kind of mimics the shot with Eren and Mikasa. So again, both of these scenes are genuinely just about love. And speaking of Ymir, I really do think that season 2 is as much her season as it is Eren's. Like, I genuinely think that she can be considered a main character of season 2 along with Eren because she does have a character arc. And by the end, she actually reveals that she was kind of returning the favor because had Reiner and Bertolt not broken through the wall, and I'm still not clear on this, but she says if that had not happened, she would have still remained a Titan. So again, this whole thing is not black and white. Reiner and Bertolt are fighting for a cause that, according to them, is the right cause. And I think Ymir kind of understands this just because she has a little bit more knowledge of the things that are happening outside the wall. And she says, you can't go back empty-handed, so I'm going with you. And then we pretty much get confirmation of this major revelation during the intermission and also during the ending with a scene with Levi, Erwin, Hanji, and Connie about the fact that the threat that we've been facing all this time, the Titans, are of human origin. So they were once human at one time. At least that's what I understood. And so now the way the show frames the threat is that, oh, this is not punishment from the divine. It's not some type of deity that is punishing us with these titans. This is an invasion. Like, this is straight up like war. It's an act of war. So you kind of view it a little bit differently now. And I guess, in my opinion, I guess what happened is that at one point, whoever was the coordinate before Eren, in my opinion, probably gave the order to all these titans to go and kill the people that were inside the walls. At least that's what I think. And then finally we get the shot of the Beast Titan. And at first I actually thought like there were two characters. The Beast Titan was there and then this guy was just kind of like, riding him or whatever. But no, I think what happens is the Beast Titan form is resting. It's not being used. And the Titan Shifter is the guy with the glasses. So the Titan Shifter is kind of coming out of the back there. Just like we saw Ymir do in one of the previous episodes. And her Titan form was just kind of like there resting, kind of dead. That's it for me, guys. Thank you so much for watching my Attack on Titan Season 2 review since April. I really appreciate it. Please leave me a like, if you want to. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Comment down below with your thoughts about anything I said about this episode. And just a quick announcement, my Dragon Ball Super review will actually be out tomorrow morning instead of tonight because I have a thing going on tonight that I have to get to. I hope you understand. And just remember that no matter how tough things get, you can always yell out for YAMIRUUU. Yeah!